Hello, my beautiful and amazing people. Good afternoon, good evening. It's your girl Racheal Kay, and we are so excited to be back for the year 2024. Come on, guys, we're in 2024. It's such an amazing time here. It's good to be back. It's good to be back on Ladies with Stories with Racheal Kay. And I'm so excited about today's event. So excited about the year 2024. So excited about all the stories that we'll be having right here on Ladies with Stories. So, guys, please, if you're viewing and you can hear me, kindly comment all is set. And, we're going to go straight up into today's show. Kindly share this, please. Share this with your friends and your families. Let them know Ladies with Stories is live. We are live, guys. We are live. And we are excited about the year 2024. How are you? How has your new year been? Are you happy about 2024, guys? Drop your comments in the section box. Let's get started. Tell your friends we're live on LinkedIn, we're live on Instagram, and we are live on Facebook. So whichever one will be convenient for them to view from, tell them we are live. So guys, let's get started. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We'll wait for our other family and friends to be here, and then we will, start. We need to be on time this year. We are going to be on time. Please share with your friends. We are live. Share the video link. We are live. We are live. Okay, guys. So, for those joining us for the first time, Ladies with Stories is a platform that inspires and empowers women to succeed. Welcome, Karen. We love you, baby. Thank you. So, guys, let's get started. Let's get started. Ladies with Stories is live, and we're bringing you an interesting story this evening. We're here to inspire, to empower you to succeed. We bring you true life stories of women around the globe from different continents, different races, just so you can be inspired. And our guest is in the studio. So, we're just going to give one more minute and up we go. How has the new year been? Hello, Anita. Hello, Rahila. Nancy. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you all here. All right, so without so much waste of time, we're going to bring our guest up. But before we bring our guest up, we'll go on a very quick commercial break and we'll bring her once the break is over. Okay, guys? Welcome back, my people. And that is how you can share your stories with us on Ladies with Stories. You can just send us a mail and we will follow up from there. So let's bring up our guest for today. But before we do that, let me do us the honor of reading through her biography. So, our guest for today is Lurex Joyce. She is a practicing nurse and a community development worker, a human rights activist, a girl child advocate, a published author, and an entrepreneur. She is the founder of a non governmental organization, which is Lurex Health and Education Foundation, through which she has reached and impacted the lives of over 5,000 persons. Lurex owns a cosmetic brand named Lurex Beauty Soap and Cosmetics, which for now majors in production of Lurex Beauty Soap, a non-bleaching, non-toxic, zero chemical, 100% naturally formulated soap for healthy skin. Lurex is a work in progress and a survivor who is willing to share her story with us today. So, guys, with a cute smile and a beautiful clap, let's make welcome our guest, Lurex Joyce, today. Hello, good to have you. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good afternoon here. Good evening there. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening. I'm in Nigeria, so it's 7 p.m. in Nigeria.
All right, good to have you on our platform today. It's such an honor to have you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
thank
for
you.
reaching out to share your story. We believe in the power of stories as it helps connect us and, explain more to people around us, letting us know that we are not alone in this situation. And today we are so happy to have you be our guest on the show tonight. So this is me saying welcome to Ladies with Stories. Please feel free and share your story.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been a long way coming. Judging from the part of the world where we are, it's difficult to come out to, talk about some of the things we have actually been through in life because of um, judge. People might want to judge you. People might misunderstand you, and but I think this is the right time, and I hope a lot of persons will be able to learn one or two from my story. So I also know that everyone has different stories. Um, yeah, and if everyone is called upon to share their stories, some of them might even be worse than what you think is being through. But for every individual story, there is something unique about it. And for you to be able to share it, I think there is something that you have maybe suffered and you feel another person needs to hear about that. So I'm going to start my from the time I knew myself, my beginning. So um, from a little let me go down memory lane as at the time I was in primary school. Even though yes, I came from I won't say we are not rich. I didn't come from a wretched home, but we are just at that time, let's say somewhere close to an average family or a little below the average. So my primary school, likewise my two elder ones was in a local community primary school. As at then we call it Central School, and right from the time I think in my house because my mom is she's a working mom actually. She has been a civil servant all along. So as soon as you're turning 3 months, she's let me use the word dumping you in a school. And most of times, we don't even have the opportunity to go through the kindergarten or the nursery school. I know I found myself in primary one. I found myself in primary one. I didn't go through all of those. And at that time, I was actually the tiniest in class. That's the word I'm going to use. The tiniest by age, by size, by everything. And I was doing exceptionally well. I remember at that time, at the end of the term, they gather all the students in a hall and they will start. um, calling the best three, last three, and when you come into the hall, you keep hearing my surname everywhere. Of course, in the first three, yes. And at some time, I remember a time when I think that was in primary four or so, I came home with a second position, not the first as usual. And I was crying along the road. I was just shedding tears. And one woman met me. I was like, "What's going on? What happened? Did you fail? Did anybody beat you?" I said, "No, I came second." And she said, "Are you crazy? You came second at your class." I said, "My mom is going to kill me. I've never taken second position home before. She was going to kill me." And true to it, when I got home, she lashed out. So
Wow.
like the person that came first, how many heads
You
does
have
she
two
have?
hands.
Yes, they don't have two heads. That's a typical African mom anyway. So all the while I was in primary school, I remember that there
Sorry
was
to
this
interrupt,
there was
Lawrence.
this
Could you please adjust your camera so it could position yeah, you're a bit slanted.
okay. Is it okay now?
Well, a little bit more. If you could adjust it a little bit more.
How
Um,
about now?
okay, now it's a bit your head is a bit off, but it's better now. All right, that's perfect.
Okay. So all the while I was in primary school, I realized that there was this thing difference. I was kind of different from every other child there. From my the learning pace was too slow for me, and when teachers go on and on to repeat certain things to some students, I feel like, why are you wasting my time here? What is so difficult for you to grab at first? At the first time they have explained it. So then we started this there's this interstate competition at that time. So I was the one representing. That was very, I think I started from, was it primary three? So it got to a point that when these people come to pick us, when the local government authority or whoever that comes to pick us come, the school headmaster will lock me in his office and
Wow.
not let me come out. Yeah, because he feels like they were extorting. It was later in life I realized that there were so many prizes attached to it, ranging from scholarship and the rest, and I was not getting it. I was just going there to just, I don't know, more like waste my time. I was one of those pupils at that time who could stand and you give them some kind of mathematics calculations, and within a twinkle of an eye, I'll provide the answer. Yes, I was. I was that person. So, but I felt like the environment where I grew didn't give me an opportunity to, manifest who I am. So after primary school, I went into secondary school. Similar thing happened. Went into a normal, regular, average secondary school, and I kept doing my thing, being at the top until when it was senior secondary. My mom was like, I think we have to try something different.
Mm.
So she actually enrolled me in one of the best school at that time. I went there, and of course, I guess it was a little bit late. SS1, I think I was how old then? Was 14? Yeah,
Wow.
I think 13 or 14 years. 13 or 14 because I started school way too early. So by the time I got into I was still trying my best, but the whole thing, even the interest in mathematics, I think I lost it. Interest in so many other things, I lost it. At a point, the was the academic vice principal academic was like, "Ah, we are going to put you in an art class." I cried my eyes out. I asked my mom to come and let them know I have a mom. I want to be in science class. They said there's nothing they can do about it. Actually, I ended up writing work in arts. Art.
Wow.
So I later switched into science on my own. I went to do external exams, and that is why I'm in science now. Ordinarily, I went through the arts process in secondary school, and then my first YA academic was in art. So when I got into university, I think that's where the whole thing became went south. When I was going as a minor, my mom told me,
All right, so I'm just
when
going to
you get
pause in at this point just so I can pour more clarity to what you have said. So, Lorex, growing
mm,
up as a child, was a gifted child, or maybe is still a gifted child. So, some might ask, what does it mean to be a gifted child? Some call it exceptional children. They are children with high thinking capacity. They think like adults. Some when you try to check what are the signs of, a gifted child, some will tell you they think very fast. They are able to memorize things. They get bored in class, which is what she was saying. Like, okay, why would you teach me over and over and over? So they get bored in class. They remember things very well. They talk like adults, they reason like adults. And some of these things are gifts of exceptional children. They call them exceptional children or gifted children. But sometimes, if you are not so careful, it has been mixed up with being an intelligent child. So, this is just the background of the story. So, there are gifted children, they do extraordinary than their peers. When you are gauging them on an average, they are more than their peers. What their peers can do, they are exceptionally good at it. So just to carry us along, that is how her story started, as an exceptional child who was not given the opportunity to realize herself because her family wasn't really available. Her mom was the strict one, just kept her in school. She didn't really follow up on that. And due to the economic situation also, it wasn't like she was from a wretched home, like she said, but then not having the awareness of this kind of gifting in children, that led her to a public school instead of a school for special children, because there are schools that are meant for this kind of gift. Gifted children have a specific school they go to so they can, groom them properly. So that was just for me cutting in, just so people can understand where we are going to. You can carry on.
Okay. So at the time I went into the university, my mom sat me down. No, of course, this is a normal thing. So she spoke to me. She told me how when you get to university, stay away from your lecturers. In fact, once you start smiling with your lecturers, to be sure that you're going to be having lots of carryovers. And once you have one carryover, you're not going to pass it. You're not ever going to pass that particular course. So I went with that in mind. And the first 6 months I spent in school, there was this lecturer in my department who genuinely saw that I was a child. I wanted to bring me closer so that I could see one or two, see how things are done in the university. I ran away. I ran. The second time he came to class, he mentioned my name boldly in class. I was like, make sure you wait for me after class. I left my bag in class for 2 days because I didn't want him to know that I was running. So it kept happening, and one day he announced in class that he thinks something is actually wrong. And one of my regrets of not getting very close, because I never understood his kind of person. He wasn't one that would have taken advantage of me. And if I had gotten close to him, most of my predicaments wouldn't have probably led to where they took
Mm,
me. So yeah, I used to have someone from my local government as a lecturer in the school, and that was he. I think he became my problem. I was tiny, very little, so I wonder what the attraction was.
mm,
Sorry, I'm not. I don't know if I'm expected to use certain words, but there were no obvious breasts, no obvious
yeah.
buttocks, so I don't know what the attraction was. So he didn't tell me, but whenever I accompanied someone to his office, he would embarrass me and walk
Wow.
me out. It happened first, happened twice, three times. Then I was in the exam hall. He came, picked up my script, and started screaming that he saw me with an extraneous material,
Oh.
malpractice. And all the while I was in that school, I sit in the front, the first row, because I will not ask you, and I wouldn't want distractions. So while he was screaming malpractice and all of that, the whole school gathered. Some were like, this lady, why don't you just, even if you saw her with something, you could pardon her. He said he would never do that. So
Wow.
I didn't know that there were other things that he was actually fighting for until later he invited me to his office. He told me that have I realized how intelligent I am? I said,
Hmm.
well, all along I've known that. But he said, have you not noticed that all my courses you've taken, you've never done well?
Hmm.
I said, okay. So he said, I intentionally give you those low grades so that you can come ask for your scripts from my
Wow.
office. Yes, this is real life. And I didn't know what to do. So he asked me to go. The next day he invited me. I came. He asked me to accompany him to the town. I followed him to the town, and the next thing I found myself in one very work guest house, and he said if I could let him have access to me, all my problems would be solved.
Wow. So just to,
I started crying.
clarify, because we have viewers that are not from Nigeria, so they wouldn't understand what you mean. So it meant your lecturer wanted to sleep with you. He wanted to have sex with you so he could help upgrade your scores for you because he was intentionally failing you. Is that correct?
What?
I said, so it meant he actually wanted having sex with you.
Yes, yes. Actually, he was very blunt with that.
All right, that's fine.
So I started crying and I ran away from there as usual. So the next time he told me that I should mark it that no Jupiter will save me. It's either I do it, and the worst is that he wanted me to do it then with his other colleague.
Wow.
So and I disagreed. And true to his words, he didn't let me finish when my mates finished.
Oh,
I then he told me yes, he didn't let me finish when my mates finished. He told me to go to the admin and I should take him to Senate. That but I should know that at the Senate is his colleagues are the ones who will judge the case. So I will always lose. And I couldn't talk to my mom. I couldn't talk to my dad. How do I even start? Well, when this relationship is not there, there
mm,
was no way I could have told them what I was going through. I was just fighting it on my own. Sometimes I beg, sometimes I cry, and it was not working. So I resorted to, since it is like this and I can't speak to anyone, so since it is like this and I can't speak to anyone, I think I'll just have to end it all. So
hi, Lorex. Can you hear me? I think her network is bad. So she's frozen. Hopefully, she gets back reconnected. But this is Lorex sharing her experience with a lecturer who had promised her that she was never going to, graduate from the school except she sleeps with him and his friend or his colleague. And, she refused. And yes, his word came to pass. She never graduated when her mates were graduating. And he told her to go ahead and report to the Senate. After all, those were the people that were going to judge the case and they were on his side. So, this is the situation I'm sure most ladies or some ladies have faced along their part in the university in Nigeria and maybe in other African countries. This is what they might have gone through. And it is not new. We have heard stories like that. But today we are hearing it from one of the victims' mouth. But I don't know how this played out at the end of the day because we're still waiting to hear the story. But this is, we're gonna chip in here. I think she's back. Is she? All right, she's back. So we'll just bring her back on stage now.
I'm sorry, sometimes they'll say, tell us you're in Nigeria without mentioning it. This is one of it. I'm in Nigeria. Okay. So back to my story. So when I couldn't talk to anyone about what I was going through, I thought to myself that how best can I end all of this predicament? So I started to I started to commit suicide. Yeah, that's what it is
Wow.
called. I went to the market. I bought. There's this rat poison that looks like a speedy biscuit. And this particular biscuit, for people in Nigeria, I think they will know. There is this biscuit they call speedy biscuit. So it
Mm.
has a certain rat poison that looks like just in small, small balls. I bought it, put all my things together in the school hostel, and I was planning to carry out the whatever the devil was giving me in the night. So when I laid down on my bed, I picked it up. I was about chewing it, and this call came.
Wow.
Sometimes God brings certain people to you to save you from certain things, even though those people don't end up staying in your life forever. They
But they
have
play a
served their
role.
purpose. So I think that particular person, that was just the reason why I knew him at that time. So when I was about eating it, then I got a call that there's an emergency. I should come outside immediately. I was like, can't you give me like 10 minutes? He said, no, it's an emergency. If you don't come out now, something is going to get spoiled. I ran out. And the moment he saw me, he said, are you okay? I said, yes, I'm fine. He said, make sure you don't do anything bad to yourself.
Mm.
Is there anything troubling you? We can talk about it. So that was the first person I told that I was having issues in school. Of course, he was a student, so he couldn't do much. He
Yeah.
said, is there any way we can just, play along and see? I said, there is no way we can play along. It's only if I die, I think the whole thing will end. And at a point, he advised I leave the school. So I left.
Wow. You left.
I left. I left. Yeah, I left.
What
So
year were you
I
at that?
was at, I was in this whole, I think this was at my final year.
Final year, and you left.
Yeah. Yes. So
Wow.
um, after some months, he advised I call the man because they were now bringing in issues from the previous years, from the previous levels, not even the final year, because my mates have left. And then he asked me to call him. I called the man, and the phone was on loudspeaker. I was with my mom. The phone was on. My mom heard him say, no matter how far you run, I must sleep with you. If not, consider yourself a dropout.
Mm.
He was now telling me that he was like, well, in the first place, we messed with your GP. What
Mm.
else? What are you going to do with your certificate? If you don't have first class, you don't have second class offer. What are you going to do with your certificate? You are more like you didn't do anything. And that's one thing Nigerian lecturers do to students. They feel once they have messed up with their grades, they have messed up with their life. Before I continue, that same man, sometime last, I think there was one time ASU was on strike last year or last, I think last year or last 2 years. I was part of those he called to please help him raise 3,000 naira.
Wow. Karma.
Yes. So when after March he asked me to come, the man when I now come after everything. So after another 2 months again, he asked me to come back to school. Let's sort out the whole thing. So I went back to school and the man was still insisting. In fact, in his office, he even tried to grab well,
Wow.
let me not say certain things. And but the long and short of it is that I told him that I had to tell him that okay, we must not even do this. Why don't we do more like a relationship so that you can have whatever you want at any time? I don't know, maybe the Holy Spirit was speaking, I can't tell. But at the end of the day, it worked. And okay, I think I skipped something. So when that my friend asked me to go home to leave the school, I tried a lot of things. I felt like, okay, since the suicide didn't work, how do I tell my parents? I was now I can reluctantly walk into the road waiting for a moving vehicle to kill me. And I tried a lot of things. If it is not someone's time to die, I don't think anything could kill the person. So I was walking into the road and being rescued. At a point when I got into the car bringing me to my mom's place, I was praying for an accident. I prayed from the beginning of the journey to the end of the journey. I wanted an accident and I was praying that God let me just be the only one to die. because it's better I die than to explain all of these things to my people.
Hmm.
And well, after much, I managed to pull out injured, pull out from the school injured, and I had to get into the street.
Wow.
I'm sorry, my family might be on, they might be listening. They've never heard this part of the story before. So, but I had to start struggling. I had to struggle at a point when I was able to raise few naira. I enrolled myself in a nursing school because that has actually been the passion from day one. That has been the dream. So enrolled myself into the school, and yes, as God may have it, I was all through my stay at the top of my class. Nobody harassed me, nobody molested me, nobody asked for anything. They let me be myself, and I went through the nursing school at the top of my class. I wrote my national exams, and for the first time, I brought a distinction to the school.
Wow.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. So, and after that, I didn't stop. I think immediately I came out of the school, I got a job. I started practicing, and while I was in school, that was when I started my non-governmental organization, Lurex Health and Education Foundation, because I have learned that a lot of people could be going through more than what I have actually gone through. So I wanted to use that platform to reach out to them.
Mm.
Then, yeah, currently I'm also running my BNSC program, so and it's
Oh,
going perfectly. Yes.
congrats.
So thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's kind of like mind captivating. Right now, you have a smile on your face sharing this story with us. But I know in those years, those smiles were not there, and it must have been a whole lot to go through the trauma, and getting on the road so a car could kill you, or trying to take a rat poison just so you could die, and not face the reality of that moment. But at the end of the day, look at it, it's all congratulations, congratulations, congratulations,
Mm,
which I'll say congratulations. And also to say thank you for sharing your story on the platform, because you mentioned that some of the things you're saying, even your family members are not even aware. And I just want to say thank you so much. It's a privilege to have you share these things. Just going to ask you some questions just from what you have shared. When you said the man called you, and or when you called the man and your phone was on speaker and your mom heard, what was her reaction to you at that point?
okay. So when she heard it, um, she was scared. That's another thing. My mom is she's educated, but she doesn't like getting into trouble. And she was like, okay, she asked me what it was. My own fault too. I didn't open up completely, but I
Mm,
just so I didn't open up completely, but I let her. Of course, she has heard something, and she heard that someone wants to have sex with me before I could finish up on school. And she asked me what I would want to do about it. Do I want to um go to court? Do I want to go to school senate? And when I told her that the man already threatened with the school senate, saying there is nothing, I can never win it. And she became, I think at that point, she was like, so how is the best way to handle it?
mm,
So she's not leaving it to me. How is the best way to handle it? It still fell back to me,
mm.
even though I was handicapped.
Wow.
And unfortunately, nobody has even asked me how, she has not asked me how it ended.
Okay. Hi.
She has not, unfortunately, she has not even asked me how it ended.
Oh,
But she just knows that I'm doing well now. So, yeah.
okay. That sounds more like some deep conversations that we do not want to open. So I'm just going to let it be at that point, because it's quite, appalling that something like that happened, and it still fell back to you. What will be done, or what can you do, or what next steps should be taken? Meanwhile, she is supposed to take the responsibility of trying to help you out through the situation. So, guys, we've been listening to Lorex's story, and if you're just joining us, Lorex shared a story with us, her true life story of being an exceptional child, which is a gifted child, being extraordinarily more than her peers in terms of academics, and that wasn't noticed on time, and that really affected her when it was later discovered in her high school. By that time, she had lost interest in some of the things, and it wasn't captioned properly. And she went further to share with us how her family orientation, the advice her mom gave her, sank differently in her. She told her, when you go to school, try to ensure that you don't mingle with your lecturers, avoid your lecturers if you want to pass your courses. So she told her, avoid your lecturers. But in the real sense, she was trying to say, be careful with your lecturers, do not involve in sexual activities with your lecturers and all. But that wasn't how Laura saw it. So every lecturer became a threat to her. Every lecturer, had in her head was like, okay, this person is going to sleep with me. And boom, lo and behold, we had a lecturer who wanted to sleep with her, and he never got the opportunity to sleep with her because she didn't give in to him. And he promised her that until he sleeps with her and his colleague, she is not going to graduate in that very course. And she had carryovers, and of course, if you have carryovers, there's no way you're going to graduate. And the man didn't allow her to graduate, and he threatened her with the Senate and told her that if you like, go to the Senate. Nothing is going to be done about it because, of course, the Senate belongs to my guys, and we are going to take the decision, and it's not going to be in your favor. And Lorex had to drop out from the university at her final year, guys. Final year. Imagine going through 5 years of your life when it's time to take out that certificate and you're leaving with nothing to hold in hand. It is really painful. You might not understand it, or you do understand it, but it is a painful thing when everybody expects you to be coming out with a certificate and you are coming back home with nothing to show for it. And what did she do instead? She left and started afresh. She started her nursing. She went into nursing, and she started bringing distinctions. She brought distinctions to the school, broke the record again, gave it a new start. And that has been the story we have been listening. And I was asking Lorex earlier on before the internet went off how her mother heard, because her mother overheard a conversation when she was having with the lecturer, how her mother treated the whole episode. But she said her mother was helpless at that point and still asked her the question, how do we go about it? Which means there was nobody present to fight justice for her except her own self, and which her own means of justice was leaving it to him. But let me just ask, did you ever go back to him? Did you ever go back to collect your certificate? Did you ever try to, even when you started the nursing, did you ever think about the certificate you left there?
Yes, and at I think at a point, this thing happened several years ago. So at a point when I went back because my I think okay, the truth is because my dad was not in the same place. So he was the one that started asking how about the school you went to? I know you're a brilliant child and the rest of bring it, let's do this and let's do that. So when I went back to the school and I didn't go through, I went to the admin instead and I was advised to sit back and write those exams. I think it was at the end of the day when they sorted it out, it was now just one course, and that course was in 200 level second semester. Can imagine. So when I took the course, it came out and they asked the man to release. That man was the one who I don't know if he knows. There's something they call academic program advisor. So he was the program advisor. So he was supposed to release the whole results. He never did. I had to access my results from the admin, and at that time he had made less of it. He had made less of it. So I don't talk about that. I don't want to. I don't even want people refer to me as, oh, this is a degree holder. I said just just keep it aside. I don't want it. It opens up a lot of memories for me. So right now I see myself in a different light. I don't regard myself as somebody who went to school, who went to the university to study a certain course. You're muted. You're muted.
All right, sorry about that. I said that was a huge step you took, trying to let go of the past. But, in the course of fighting for justice, I'm not sure letting go, it's kind of like something I really do advise because we are portraying the light to people, telling people, fight for what belongs to you. So imagine somebody is in your situation right now because this platform has lots of students on it. So imagine there are students going through your situation at the moment. Would you advise them to sleep with their lecturers? Or would you tell them, okay, fine, if you don't sleep with them, let go and start a new course of life? Or would you tell them, go into a new degree or fight for what you have? What will be your advice?
That is the essence of my organization. I will help them fight it. At this
So how do
time,
you go about fighting it?
okay, how we go about fighting? I know that things are even a lot better now that people can even speak up. There is social media that you can even put it up there and they will find the person and it makes it easier. So I feel not everybody will have a second chance to certain
Mm,
things in life, especially going back to school. It could be that the person will not be able to see him or herself through school or have someone to sponsor it. So the one you have, you should be able to. I don't that I was able to let go. I wouldn't encourage any other person to let go. Sometimes, some of our fears, when we face it, we discover that it's something we can actually do.
mm.
I wish I knew what I know now. I would have fought him to the nail. I'm serious.
So
I
do
would
you
have.
think you can still fight him now because your case isn't over?
I
You haven't received
I can
your
I
yet.
can seriously I'm going to fight him. But it seems life is already fighting him.
So you're
Life
going
is
to
fighting him.
lie.
For him to call me to ask for 3,000 naira, you should know life is fighting him.
But that doesn't justify the fact that he hasn't given you your degree. So even if he's asking for 3,000, he can still make amends by doing the right thing.
Well, I have okay. I think that's another perspective of looking at it. Maybe when I think it through, but okay, and I think at this point now I feel I am doing so well where I am. That one might not even be necessary. I might not need it.
No.
With this new path, I might not need it.
Well, you might not need it, but you deserve it because you worked for it. So, in as much
Okay.
as we tell people, go out, tell your story and do this and do that, we also try to tell you this is what you deserve. You worked for this thing. Go for it, get it, and come back and tell us, oh, I have received my certificate and I'm going to help any other lady going through this thing to fight it this way because justice has a voice, and until that voice cries out and is being heard, it is not justice yet. I know this might not be the path you want to follow, but this is just maybe a subtle advice, because you are going to be the light for other people, or you are currently the light for other people. And if you need to help other people fight justice, you need to fight it to the root. And the root of this justice is telling this man to his face, I deserve my certificate. I earned this grade. I am going to work it. You're either going to give me or I'm going to go the radical way because you now know something better. You now have a better perspective to life. You're now more equipped to fight for it. So he will actually give it to you because until he corrects that wrong, other lecturers will think it is right to do this to other females. And this isn't just for you alone. This is a fight for every other woman out there. This is a fight for the next generation of people, even if you don't need it. I would just advise, collect your certificate, keep it in your office, and say, this thing you denied me has become a new story for other people to learn. This thing that I
Yeah.
fought for and I changed my whole life. And go imagine going through the stress you went through, the traumas, the this, the that, the thought of committing suicide. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to let it go because life is going to fight for it. No, my darling, it's not going to fight like that. Collect what is yours and put it up and say, yes, I fought for it. This is the proof I fought for it. And this is the proof that I have that I did it and I made it through. So even if you're doing your BSc nursing, it also shows that you did something before now. This is an additional qualification to you. So your time will never be wasted because of one human being. It's just because, okay, we're trying to be polite and be nice. Otherwise, I'd have said, okay, call this lecturer by name. He has a name. We should call him out. But
It has
obviously,
a
we're not
name.
violence, but we call those people out because everybody that works deserves honor. So imagine you're calling a honorable one of your lecturers that did you well. You want to say, oh, Mr. This, that. He helped me through the course of my journey. That is how it is with people that are also mean. We call them out. But then let's leave that and, dwell on the story for today. So, the point is we sharing our story, we want to pass a message. And I just want to be sure that we are passing the right message to people out there. And from the focus of things, we're going to talk about your story in some kind of like categories, your family. And I just want to say, I don't mean any offense or to be rude to your family members or anything, but this is just a general advice to every family. Mothers, fathers out there, it is your responsibility to, understand your children, pay attention to your children at an early stage. The caption I did earlier when I was going to post your photo was, parents, do you know if your children are gifted? Because it is something to know if your child is gifted or not. You need to understand what it means to be a gifted child. Even we singles, you married, newly wedded couples without children, hoping to have children, or those that have children, these are things you should research on to know if um your children are gifted, if your nieces are gifted, if your nephews are gifted. They are all informations that you can find on the social media platform. And while I'm talking, please, if you have any question for Lurex, please kindly drop your questions out for her. Please drop your question if you have a question for her. I just want to make sure that everybody that needs to understand the story today is understanding the story. And that is for parents, try to understand your children, know if they are gifted, if they have special abilities, so you can nurture them before you push them into the society. And we say the school is one of the places to mold your children. So every teacher at an early stage, middle stage, or whatever stage it is, has the responsibility of understanding who your student is or are. So if you are in a capacity of being a teacher or a lecturer, and you notice something special about a particular child, it is in your capacity to call to the attention of the school and also to the parents and let them understand that, oh, this child has a special capacity. This child is a gifted child. This child has something that, we should bring to limelight. And you help the parents understand it also. And also, of course, we live in a world where our government in Nigeria need to play a major role. You know how it happens in Nigeria is when you are a very intelligent child, they kind of like, oh, the next thing they do is they put you up for the house sports and try to take you for different competitions. But over here, there are institutions that are focused on gifted children. Once you are recognized, the institution comes out, carries an analysis on you or do, an expert work in you to ensure that you are fixed in the right place. And that is how the government's supposed to work. So that is kind of like the major part of your story to the major people that we need them to hear the story. The family, the teachers, the government, you all play a part in ensuring that every child is, taken proper care of and being focused on everything. And then we move forward to your second part of your story, which also it talks about family bond. We must learn to create a relationship with our children that is that is in sync. You need to have a family that you can talk to. You need to, even you as an individual, you need to be open to people to understand you. You need to tell them, I'm going through situations that I need help. I am going through things that I need help. And your family should be like a point of call that, you can easily run to and say, mom, dad, I need help with this. A lecturer is harassing me. There is no way a lecturer will be harassing you, and then, your family is not aware. It's because the bond wasn't there properly. And also, you on your own part, you need to share your story. There should be one person you call a friend, two people you can call friends that you can, talk to them about it. And things like that are easily discussed, and you get help on how to go about situations like that. Trying to check my jottings because I was jotting while you were talking. No, I don't talk too much. And then every to the lecturers out there, I need you all to understand it, because we all have lectures, our families around us, that tomorrow your story will be shared on another platform. Is either you are a good lecturer and adding value to people's life, or you are a bad lecturer and adding another kind of pain to someone's life. And the way you want to be addressed as a lecturer starts now. In the next 5, 10 years, this is Lurex sharing story that happened maybe 5 years ago. That happened 5 years ago,
10 years, 10 years ago.
10 years ago, and
No,
we
not 10 years, 11 years ago. Sorry.
11 years ago. This is Lurex sharing story that happened 11 years ago. 11 years ago. So imagine, as a lecturer, what would you want to be remembered for? What would you want to be remembered for? Somebody will share your story either to their children, to their family, or to their friends that you were of impact to them, or you caused destruction in their lives. And at all points, before karma catches up with you, things will definitely catch up with you. So it is for every lecturer out there. If you have family members, friends that are lecturers, tell them their stories will be shared 10, 15, 20 years when they are down. What kind of story would they want to be like? What kind of story do they want people to hear of them? So that's just basically it. And then, never giving up. Never giving up. We kind of like saw that in your story today. You didn't give up. You didn't let life decide for you. You didn't let life tell you, okay, fine, as everybody's, trying to shut you up, you have decided, okay, fine, you give up, you just go back. The man said, your life can never become something. After all, your grades have been messed up. And it's true in Nigeria, when your result is not good, how do you want to get a job? But you didn't give up, even though you made attempts to take rat poisons, stay on the main road for cars to kill you, but you didn't give up. And that is for every young girl out there going through her situation. Please don't give up. Please hang in there. We need you. Hang in there. You are needed. Don't give up. Stay strong. Somebody's waiting to hear your story of how you came out strong. So hang in there. Hang in there. We believe you. We believe your story. Hang in there. Don't give up. Don't give in. Let your life have value. Let your life, make sense to other people. Don't just give up. Somebody needs your story. Somebody needs to stand up because of you. And I just hope at the end of this whole episode of sharing from being a gifted child, not having the opportunity to express to our family, to having a very mean lecturer that wanted her to sleep with him and them, and at the end of the day, she coming out as a registered nurse, bringing honor to her new institution, is something that you can learn and implement in your life, because that is why we share the story. If you are able to, implement all these things in your life, then it will be a useful day today, that we have brought you a story and you have been able to put it to use in your own life. And you can share the story with other people, with other university girls, boys, parents, people that need to understand these things, that yes, there is life. Yes, people are fighting battles. Yes, we need to support, be a listening ear. be a shoulder that someone can cry onto. So I don't know if we have questions. Please, if you have questions, kindly drop your questions before we call it a day. Please, if you have questions, let us know. And Lorex, we are right here to fight with you. If you are willing, we are willing to push you through to fight and get your certificate. If you need any help, I am
Thank
right here. If you
you.
call the man out, I'm right here. If you need legal advice, we are right here. And whatever support you will need from us, we are right here. And I can see someone said we need a follow up on your story. We need to bring you back when you get your certificate. So, are we going to have you back?
Yes, you will.
All right, so we're going to have Lorex back when she have her certificate or when she has a certificate in her hands, and we are going to fight for justice for Lorex. It may take forever. It may have been 11 years ago, but definitely 2024, as they say, no grief for anybody. So we no grief for him. Even if not 3K income back, we no grief. We are going to collect the. That is what we want. Based on your past experience in the university, what advice will you give to young people on how to go about their studies in the school?
Okay, well, based on my experience, I think the for young people out there, I want them to not to be too rigid. They can be flexible, they can relate more with people because if I had had the opportunity to relate more with people, probably I would have been able to tell people what I was going through. So not being rigid, having just in as much as yes, there's something I don't know for a good number of us that know some Nigerian universities, a lot is happening there. Even on the social media, that was why we were talking. I was just smiling. Even in on the social media, you hear a lot of stories. What they do, how they harass people, how they refuse to let people graduate, how they tamper with grades and the rest of that. So it's sometimes it's not just all about just going there and focusing on your studies and intending to come out with the best grades. No, you have to be more liberal. You have to learn how to socialize. You have to. It's not always just about studies. Building good relationships, good friendships with people helps a lot. And I think most times when they discover that you're always alone, they know that it is very easy to penetrate you because they've studied. They know that you cannot be able to let other people in to whatever you're going through. So I would advise that they go in there while they are concentrating on their studies. They should also build very good friendships with reasonable people. In a case where any of this wants to happen, they can be able to speak to one or two persons about it. I think it helps.
All right. Okay, so I hope you all have heard build relationships, talk to people about it. Do we have any other question? Do we have any other question? Is anyone having question for Lorex before we let her go? And we are bringing her back when she has her certificate with her. We're definitely going to be with you on this journey. I'll definitely be checking up, and whatever you need, please let me know. We will fight it together so we can, let everyone know that it is possible. It may have been delayed, but it is possible to get your victory. It is possible to get your certificate because you deserved it. We absolutely need a follow up on the outcome of her story. Don't give up. Yes, we do. We do. We love you, Joyce.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. God bless you. Never
Bless
give
you
up.
too.
Never give up.
I'm not
And
going
please
to give
let us
up.
know
Yeah.
how, if you want us to collaborate with your own organization in order to fight justice for other people also who are in that situation like you. We are available and we are open to doing that. And we'll definitely get on your case after this conversation, we need a follow up as soon as possible. We need to bring you back so the world will know that yes, 2024 is no grief for anybody.
No grief for anybody.
So much for coming on the show.
Alright,
Thank you for sharing
fine.
your story with us. And I hope that you have found strength in yourself. And before I let you go, I just want to ask one more question. Sharing your
Okay.
story today, what has it done to you? What do you think your story, sharing your story out, has done to you as an individual?
I think a burden has been lifted.
A burden has been
Yeah,
lifted.
has been lifted. So, and I also believe that couple of persons have listened to it, especially those going through one or two things. So some days back when I reposted the flyer, somebody came into my DM and was like, um, she's wishing she can have the strength, not the opportunity. She can have the strength to share her own story. And I
Oh,
told her that it's something she can do if she wants to. And she said her problem is not the platform. Her problem is the strength. And as
yeah.
it stands now, she's not um she might take the wrong step, she might make the wrong decisions.
Mm,
And I spoke to her. I even encouraged her if she could come and listen to know that a lot of persons have been there. Actually,
mm,
for me to have been very close to taking my own life, I don't think there is something as as terrible as that.
yeah.
You know, when I sit down and remember that, I actually thank God for not answering my prayers. It was a prayer point that God, let me die. Let me
Hmm.
sleep and then wake up. But now I pray every day, God, please forgive me. Ignore those prayers. I don't want it anymore.
He actually ignored it. That's why you're
So
here
for
today.
someone to get to that point, that is to, I think I stand in a better position to encourage a lot of persons. And I spoke with her. So I hope that a lot of persons who might be like her, who might be like me, have learned and actually they may have drawn strength from my story. And I think one good thing about stories is that when you share it, you feel better.
Mm,
The animosity, the anger, the pain becomes better. I was actually smiling, but when I sit down on my own, I think about this. I don't smile, I cry instead.
mm,
But I shared the story without shedding a single tear, and I was smiling at the end of it. So that's one thing it does. I think when I reached out to you and I learned that I was going to have the opportunity to do this, I embraced it.
mm.
Nigeria has happened to us.
It's
So
fine.
I actually embraced it because I knew it was going to help me get better. It's been years. Anybody could say I am being unforgiving, but
No,
no.
no, it's your story, and healing comes gradually. Strength comes gradually. It takes courage to actually share your story. And I understand you because I have been doing this and I talk to people about these things. So it takes strength to share your story. And this for it to be a burden lifter for you today and for you to be able to share your story to give hope to other people. We count it to be a success story for us on Ladies with Stories that our platform has helped you in taking a little of the burden away from you. And that is our pride. And we are so grateful. I don't take this for granted. I am very grateful. The team is grateful. We are grateful to have you share your story with us. And like I said, we will always follow up on you. And if anyone through you has a need to talk to anybody, please reach out to me. I'm available. My team is available. We also have other professional team members, from doctors, lawyers, other people from other sectors of life. And we are able to help people. Like I always say, together we succeed. You have a voice, I have a voice. When we put our voices together, it becomes loud and clear for everyone to understand what the situation is. And we are always available. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I pray that through the storytelling, you find healing and forgiveness all through the rest of your journey. Before we bring you back again, it's going to be a new dimension of hope, of peace, and restoration
Definitely.
for you. All right.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. It's a delight to have you on the show. And this is me saying thank you to everyone who has been online today to watch our program, Ladies with Stories with Racheal Kay. Thank you so much for giving us your time, for giving us your resources, your data to listen to it. And I hope you have learned one or two things. As a parent, I hope you have learned. As a lecturer, I hope you have learned. As a student, I hope you have learned. And as a society, I hope we have learned that justice is crying out. We all can help in fighting the cause of justice. And if anyone is in this situation and will want to share their story or will want us to help them fight for justice, please reach out, send a DM, send an email to us, or give us a phone call. We are right here to support you. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a pleasure to bring you another story on Ladies with Stories. And this is me saying good night. Thank you to everyone. Oh, before we go, we have a giveaway question. So, for those that are online and those that will come and watch this, please tell us the difference between a gifted child and an intelligent child. We need to find 10 signs of a gifted child and drop it in the comment section. I'll drop the question again, drop in the comment section. And secondly, what stood out for you in today's story? Drop it there. And we will give you your 10K at the end of the week. So by Friday, we will give out our 10K. 10, is it differences now or 10 signs of a gifted child and what stood out for you in today's discussion. Thank you so much, everyone. It's your baby girl for life. I love you. See you on the 8th of March with another beautiful story. You don't want to miss out. Mwah. Bye bye. Good night. Bye.